Welcome to the Dad Ventures podcast. If you're new here, I'm a dad who refuses to settle for boring faith and passive fatherhood. I believe that fatherhood and following Jesus are two of the greatest adventures imaginable, and I'm on a quest to bring other dads along on this journey of adventurous faith and fatherhood. I'm your host, Michael Parks, and today we're going to be talking about raising grateful kids. But first, let's start with Jesus. Psalm 100 from the New International Version, a psalm for giving grateful praise. Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. Being grateful is not about just ignoring the bad things in life and pretending like they don't happen, but rather it's recognizing and being thankful for the good things. As followers of Jesus, we also recognize where these blessings come from. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. And when we go through difficult times in life, we can be grateful that we have the Good Shepherd leading us, walking beside us, and taking care of us every step of the way. Trust that the Lord is not only there with you, but that he is using these trials to make you stronger and to shape you more and more into the image of Jesus. James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4 says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Whatever you're going through, good or bad, be joyful and grateful. Enter God's presence with thanksgiving and praise, gladly worshiping him with joyful songs and knowing that the Lord is God. He made you. You are his. And Jesus is your loving and powerful shepherd. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. All right, really quickly, before we dive into today's topic, I want to remind you that I have a family advent guide that is coming out very soon. This is a free resource that I put out last year, and I'm updating it for this year. It has a short family devotional for each week of Advent, plus daily scriptures and a reading plan for the entire Advent season, plus the 12 days of Christmas. Now, there are also some ideas for family activities like movie nights and fun ways for your entire family to serve others this Christmas. We did this last year with our kids, and it was great. Truly, it was some of my favorite memories from Christmas last year. And I also heard from several other families who utilized this family advent guide, and they were just so thankful because I heard over and over again that it kept their kids engaged, and it was an effective way to keep their entire family centered on Jesus during the Christmas season. So if you want to make awesome memories with your kids this Christmas and teach them what Christmas is truly about, then you need to grab this free family advent guide. It's going to be available soon, and I'll put the links out on Facebook and Instagram. But the best way to make sure you get this free resource is to subscribe to the Dad Ventures email list at thedadventures.com. I promise I won't spam you with a ton of emails. That's just not my style. But as soon as it's available, you're going to know you're going to have that link in your inbox. And trust me, Advent will be here before you know it. It begins November 30th this year, which is just about 2.5 weeks from the time that I'm recording this episode. So head to thedadventures.com and subscribe today and be the first to get that free family advent guide. All right, our theme this month is thankfulness. Last week, I did an episode on how to replace complaining with thankfulness. And if your kids are like most kids, they probably complain from time to time. And by time to time, I mean like every 5 minutes. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, I would really encourage you to go back and listen to episode number 21. Now, since our theme is thankfulness, I want to expound on that and give you some practical tips, 7 practical tips on how to raise grateful kids. Because if you're in the United States, Thanksgiving is coming up. This is a perfect time to be focusing on gratitude and thankfulness. But even if you're not, even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, this is something that all of us need, dads included. And some of these tips, some of these things I have been doing with my own family for many years. And some of the others are some that I've come across recently while researching this topic. And I'll be honest, a couple of these I have been trying to do for a little bit, and I just have not been very good with them. I just want to own up to my shortcomings, because if you're like me, you can listen to so-called parenting experts and read blogs and books and all these things that tell you how you should be doing things, how you should be raising your kids. And then you can kind of feel like a failure because it seems like you're doing everything wrong, and it seems impossible to follow their advice. But just remember, we're on a journey, and a journey is about progress, not perfection. And every journey is done just one step at a time. So every step that you take towards your destination is going to get you one step closer to where you want to be. Now, I am not doing any of this perfectly, but I am being intentional about being a better father and a better husband and a better follower of Jesus. So if you're not perfect, welcome to the club of imperfect dads. But the fact that you're here listening to this episode shows that you care about being a good dad. And that is definitely a step in the right direction. So here are 7 practical tips for raising grateful kids. Number 1, model it. If we want grateful kids, we have to be grateful ourselves. We have to show them what it looks like. Because if we aren't grateful, how can we expect our kids to be grateful? So be intentional about being thankful and expressing gratitude. So the tips that I'm going to give you to help you with your kids, we got to be doing these ourselves too, right? So when your kids or your wife, they do something, thank them for it. Make sure that you are being grateful, that you are modeling that and showing them what that looks like. And model it in your prayers as well, being grateful for God's blessings. And then keep your own attitude in check. I constantly ask myself, I've been trying to do this a lot better as I've been focusing on this, asking myself, am I a thankful person or am I complaining and being negative? And more often than not, it's the latter, right? So if you tend to be negative, to complain, to critique, then be intentional about checking yourself, checking that attitude. When you want to complain or critique, bite your tongue, all right? And then challenge yourself to look for the good things in life, the good things in your kids, the good thing in your spouse, and express gratitude for those things to your family, to your friends, your coworkers, and to God. Number 2, teach your kids to pray for specific blessings. Are your kids like mine? Like when they say their prayers, do they tend to just say, thank you for our blessings, without actually specifying what those blessings are, what they're actually thankful for? Or maybe you're like that too. I know I can be too. Sometimes when my prayer life gets a little stale, I just thank you for blessing me. Well, in what ways? Let's be specific ourselves, and let's help our kids to do that themselves with their prayers. Try this. Instead of having your kids just say a generic prayer at bedtime, ask them for at least 3 things that they're thankful for. Now, for older kids, don't let them get away with just the generic things like I'm thankful for food, I'm thankful for our house, but challenge them to go a little bit deeper. What specific food are they thankful for right now, and why? Because, that could be anything. Maybe right now they're thankful for chocolate chip cookies because you just had chocolate chip cookies for dessert after dinner, and or maybe just reminds them of, they're an older teenager, they're 16, 17, 18 years old, and now, like, it just, whenever I eat a chocolate chip cookie, it takes me back to being that little kid, and without any worries, without any cares, and just the delicious, warmth, gooey, chocolatey cookie. It's just amazing, right? Or maybe it's, could be like lasagna. Maybe lasagna is their favorite because grandma makes it, and it just reminds them of grandma, and it just makes them feel like a warm hug inside, right? Challenge them to go a little deeper, a little bit more specific. Likewise, what with their house? What about that are they thankful for? Maybe it could be like their new blanket. They just got a new blanket, and it's so soft and warm and cozy. Or maybe it's just a simple fact that they have a roof over their head because they've been doing some ministry in downtown or other places where they've seen people who don't have a roof over their head. And so that's really made them think how blessed they are to have just a roof over their head because so many people don't. You can do this at bedtime or at dinner time. Just go around to each person, asking them, parents too, to list 3 specific things that they're grateful for. I would encourage you to do this with your family at least twice a week for the next several weeks, and just see what a difference that makes. All right, number 3, give kids responsibility. Giving kids responsibility teaches them so many valuable things, and one of them is gratitude. If someone else is always doing their laundry, it's going to be hard for them to be grateful because it's just an expectation. My laundry gets done. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. Somebody does it for me. But if they are responsible for doing their own laundry, then when someone does come along and does their laundry for them, they realize how great of a gift that is. Thank you for doing my laundry. I appreciate that because I always have to do it, and you did it, and now that saves me time. Okay, so that's going to help them just understand the value of what is happening, the work that goes into doing something. Give kids chores and responsibilities, and it doesn't matter. I mean, once they're even like as young as 2 years old, they can start having some responsibilities. And as they get older, it's going to get a little bit more complex, a little bit more responsibility. But give them chores, give them responsibilities. Different things with the laundry. They could do their own laundry, or hey, at least maybe they can bring their dirty clothes to the laundry room, or they can help sort the laundry, put their laundry away, helping with the dishes, loading the dishwasher, rinsing their dishes after dinner, pulling weeds, mowing the yard, setting the table, making the salad for dinner, or even preparing the entire meal, dusting, vacuuming, cleaning the bathroom, giving the dog a bath. Give your kids some responsibility. All right, number 4, point out generosity. Point it out. We need to model generosity, but we also need to point it out when we see it in others. Our children, they need as many examples of generosity as possible. And when we point it out, we're showing them that this is a big deal. We're showing them how awesome generosity is. If a friend or a neighbor or a coworker does something nice for you, tell your kids about it at dinner. Tell them what that person did for you and how appreciative you are for it. Okay, give them that example, and then also make sure that you point it out when you see this in your own family. When you see your kids, you see your spouse being generous, point it out. Make a big deal out of it. Not too big of a deal if they feel like you're being patronizing or sarcastic, but just point it out. That positive reinforcement is going to go a long way with your kids. One of your kids lets their sibling have the last cookie. Man, point that out. That's a big deal because I'm like, man, that's a big sacrifice because those cookies are delicious, right? Point that out. They did the dishes without being asked. Let them know that you appreciate that. All right. Point out generosity. Number 5, give them opportunities to share. Now, if you're like me, you hate it when your kids are fighting over stuff. Like that's like, I mean, 90% of our issues in our family, it's fighting over stuff, right? And it's obnoxious, it's annoying. And the easy thing to do is to say, well, hey, we're going to give them each their own thing so they don't have to fight over who gets to use this, who gets to play that game, who gets to watch TV, who gets to use that toy, right? But what we're doing is we're just making a temporary fix, but we're creating a bigger problem for the future. Because if they don't learn how to share and compromise now, then they're going to be in for a world of trouble later, because they're always going to be having to share with other people. When they go off to college, they're going to share a room with a roommate. They're going to have to be able to do that and navigate that and negotiate with a roommate over showers and cleaning and schedules and all those things. And if they haven't learned that at home, that's going to be hard for them to adjust in college. They're going to have to work and share with teammates, with friends, with coworkers. And if they get married and have kids, they are going to be doing a lot of sharing. We have multiple TVs in our house, but we rarely use more than one at a time. I mean multiple, I don't mean like 12 TVs or anything. Like, we have a few, but in different spaces, 3, I think, but rarely do we use more than one at a time, because we want our kids to learn how to work together to choose what they're going to watch or what video game they're going to play. And sometimes it's annoying. And sometimes, a lot of times, they fight about it. But they're learning. And we're giving them these opportunities to learn how to share, how to compromise, how to get along together. So, and all of our kids, they've also, at least for most of the time, at least half their life, they've had to share a room with somebody else. All right. And we've got 4 kids, so, that's impossible. We don't have that many bedrooms, but we want them to share. Now, would it sometimes be easier and cause us fewer headaches if they didn't have to share things? Absolutely. But we're preparing them for the future where they're going to have to share and compromise and get along with others. And that's going to help them be more grateful for what they do have, instead of feeling entitled and it's all about me. All right, number 6, change your gift giving. This is something that we have tried to do, and I know this can be hard, because especially as we're coming up on Christmas, I mean, we just love to see our kids get excited about opening presents and seeing all these presents under the tree, and we get this sense of happiness when we watch them open these presents. But if we're not careful, we can create spoiled, entitled kids by giving them everything they want. We've tried to limit our gifts a little bit, and we've started moving away from just giving them a bunch of toys and instead giving them useful things that are going to help them in every area of their life. They're going to be healthy spiritually and physically and academically. Right, so I've started like a couple years ago, kind of breaking down our gifts into some different areas, instead of just giving them a toy that, hey, they're going to be excited about for like a minute, and then, hey, before long it's going to end up in the trash, or we're taking it to donate to somebody else. We've tried to be more intentional about what we are giving them. So, like for number 1, like spiritual development. Bibles and devotional books, things that are going to help them kind of be pointed to Jesus. All right. And at different ages, they've got a lot of great different books and devotionals that are great for different ages. Number 2, physical development. Okay. Their body physically, sports and athletic equipment that are going to get them out there and moving and being healthy physically. Number 3, education. Their educational development and health, books, educational games, puzzles, things like that are going to really stretch their mind. And number 4, creative development. These are things like for creative hobbies, like art supplies, music, baking and cooking supplies, cookbooks, things like that are kind of help them develop that creativity and use those creative gifts to just to have a hobby that brings them joy, and then also ways that they can use that to bless others. And one thing that we've done is to try to replace some gifts with experiences, especially shared experiences, because most experiences are going to last longer than most possessions because of the memories and the connections that we're making with family and friends. And we want to teach our kids that life is not about accumulating stuff. It's about relationships, relationship with God, relationship with the people around us. Relationships are what matter, not stuff. And relationships, they're about sharing life together. It's as much about giving as it is receiving. And this is the lesson that we want to teach our kids. This is crucial to raising grateful kids. And those experiences could be big or small. It doesn't really matter. The budget you have, the things that you want to do, it doesn't really matter. Just be creative. It could be something like going to the zoo or going to the park, getting ice cream, going to your kid's favorite restaurant, right? You could give a gift of like a one-on-one time with each kid, where they get to plan the whole day, where they're going to go, what they're going to do, what they're going to eat. It's all up to them, all right? Or it could just be like, hey, you get like an afternoon or whatever it is, or hey, that their favorite thing to do is to go to the zoo, or they've been really looking forward to this concert, and make it a whole date out of it with your kid. Like, we're going to have this experience together. You could also do like an entire family day where each person gets to choose one thing that they want to do. You and your kids are going to remember that experience far longer than some random $30 toy from the store. Now, you can also go bigger with this. It could be like season passes to an amusement park, or like a performing arts center, or season tickets to your favorite sports team. Or it could be travel. Okay, which is number 7, the last thing on our list of how to raise grateful kids. Number 7, travel. And if you've been around the Dad Ventures for very long, that's a big part of what we do. We love these experiences. But it doesn't always have to be something big, okay? Like, it could just be a day trip somewhere just a couple hours away. Getting away for an afternoon or an entire day. It could be a weekend getaway, a camping trip for a few days, or a vacation that lasts a week or two. Now, if you're going to an all-inclusive resort where you just have everything that you want at your fingertips, you want food, they're going to bring it, you just relaxing at the beach or whatever, you're probably going to miss out on some of what I'm talking about here. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. Like, it's beneficial to get away and just be able to relax for a few days. But if you really want to get the full benefit of what, we're talking about here, getting out of your comfort zone, then I'd recommend doing some travel where you aren't just relaxing in paradise somewhere, or but really like going somewhere to experience the local culture, getting out of your comfort zone, doing things that are different, experiencing those things, even if that local culture is just a few hours away from you. All right. So here's what happens when we travel. Number 1, like, we're getting out of our comfort zone. And so much of life is about navigating through uncomfortable and stressful and difficult experiences. And travel, what I love about travel is it helps prepare us and our kids for those times. It prepares us for life, because that's what, so much of life is just about trying to figure out and get through and survive uncomfortable situations. When we're leaving comfort behind when we travel, our home and our beds and the foods that we're used to eating, and just the culture and surroundings, even the language, even if you're going someplace in your own country, language can even change, and the surroundings are different, and the foods can be different. All right. And it just gets us out of our comfort zone. We try new things, try new activities, try new foods, just being in unfamiliar places. It forces our entire family to be adventurous, to be courageous, and learn how to be adaptable. And number two, we have to compromise. We have to share and work together as a family. Whether it's a road trip or we're flying somewhere or we're camping, everyone has jobs to make it all work, right? Like we're trying to get all of our luggage through the airport. Hey, who's grabbing this? Who's grabbing that? Who's got this? Who's in charge of that? Who's taking the 6-year-old to the bathroom, right? Or, hey, we're in the car together. Who's in charge of the snacks? Who's in charge of the DVD player that we only use on long road trips? Or, hey, we're camping. Hey, you got to help us get the tent up, and you're taking care of food, and you're getting water, and you're doing all these things. We're all working together. We all have our jobs, and it's beautiful. And then once we get to a place, or while we're traveling, we're in a confined space together, a minivan, a hotel room, a tent, and you have to learn to get along. You have to be able to get along when you're in those confined spaces, and that's a good lesson. As hard as it is, I mean, again, like this just prepares us and our kids for life, because we have to learn how to compromise. We have to learn how to bear with each other, share a space together, share toys, share books, share movies. Like I said, we utilize a DVD player in our minivan only on long road trips. And not even the whole time, but just a little way, a little diversion, okay? But still, they have to figure out what movie they're going to watch, because we have 4 kids, and they usually all want to watch something different. So we let them work that out. We try to step out of the way. It's not always easy, but we try to let them negotiate and kind of make their case and work things out, okay, what they're going to watch. And travel is awesome, but like I said, it's also difficult, right? And that's like life in general. But going through those difficulties together helps us bond as a family and really connect. Going through difficult experiences alone is miserable. Like if you think back on things that you've gone through, if you've ever had to go through something that was just super difficult and miserable, if you had to do that on your own, like it's horrible. But yet if you go through even like the same thing with somebody else, even though it's difficult, you create this amazing bond with the people that you're going through that with. And those bonds can last a lifetime because you've had this shared experience. And when you look back on that experience later, when you talk about it together, you often laugh about it as you reminisce together about what you went through, the misery that you shared together. And you probably have stories like that with your own family and your friends, college friends, roommates. We have a lot of those types of stories from our family travels through the years. Getting caught in a rainstorm while we were rafting about hour and a half outside of where we live. Nearly getting blown away in a windstorm while we were hiking to Delicate Arch in Utah. Making a wrong turn while we were in Toronto and having to navigate without GPS working in one of the biggest, busiest, most traffic riddled places I've ever been in. All kinds of stories of arriving to our hotel or motel or Airbnb and being less than impressed with the accommodations. And we laugh about these stories now because we survived and we did it together. And we can look back and we can smile, even though those were, at the time, not great experiences, but they're a part of our shared history as a family. They've bonded us together. These travels, they make us grateful for all those experiences, the good and the bad. And they make us grateful for what we do have. Because every time we get back from traveling, as we're coming back home, myself and everybody in our family, like we're always like, oh man, I'm sad that vacation is ending, but man, I can't wait to sleep in my own bed. Like I am looking forward to that. I'm so thankful that I can get a good night's sleep in my own bed, right? That's what travel does, because It's nice to come home and get back to a routine or get back to what we're used to, and it makes us thankful for what we do have. Because so often you don't realize how thankful you are, how good something is until you don't have it. It gets taken away. And our kids are the same way. They love getting to go to different places and have these different experiences, but they're always thankful to be back home. Travel, whether it's an hour down the road or halfway around the country, halfway around the world, it's an effective way to instill gratitude and thankfulness in your kids while forming these strong family bonds and lasting memories. So dads, give these 7 tips a try, and I am confident that you will see a difference in your kids and yourself. As always, I am so thankful that you are joining me on this journey of adventurous faith and fatherhood. I am grateful for you because I couldn't do this without you. This would not exist without you. And I know that you are making a difference in the lives of your children. So go subscribe to our email list so you can get that free family Advent guide as soon as it's available. And be sure to go have a dadventure this week with your family. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Dadventures podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and share it with another dad. Let's build a community of strong dads leading strong families.